Track 4, Familiar Strangers, is, I would say, the leading song of this album. Yet I didn't push it that way. Yet the Archives was recorded first for the album, and it is the final single, the main single. It's the most recent single out of all the songs. I did release Out of Control and Elapse around 2017 and 2018, respectively. And now there's new versions, album versions. But Familiar Strangers was made before Breathtaking. It was made before the other songs. Somehow it's become this underrated track on the album. So let's get nostalgic. Let's start off with a little bit of history. Familiar Strangers is a song that could not have been made without a feature. That song relied on two people. It tells a story of two people. But whoever that second person was to tell that story, it was up to the timing, it was up to the universe, it was up to the natural chemistry between me and the other artist. Now, when I first wrote Familiar Strangers, the first person that came to mind was my cousin, because we had collabed before. When I first started making music, she was a person that I recorded with originally. She was the person that I made music with originally. She was the person that I had wrote with and learned from. So naturally, that was the planned feature of the song. I remember back then, my style was drastically different to the point where the styles did not match, they didn't mesh, and it didn't seem like I could pull off a collab. Take, for example, me and this cinematic yet dark and depressing rap music, right? And then you have her R&B. So I talk about doubts in this album process, and that was one of the main doubts. I decide that Familiar Strangers, perhaps we're gonna have to venture out and maybe somebody wants to collab that stylistically and genre-wise matches my music. It became this search to find the feature that would fit perfectly with the song. There were many people over time. The most prominent choices that I was about to work with surprisingly did not end up on the final version of this track. You gotta keep in mind, if it's made before Breathtaking, it's made 2016, early 2016, maybe 2015. I don't really remember how far back, but I know it was the first. And it's another one of those examples of songs that didn't make reality, but did in fact make Heartbeat. So the prominent names: Naire, friend from high school, friend from intermediate school, who I had no idea could sing up until that point. She hadn't made music, but she was eager to pursue it. And I was thinking maybe this song could be the entry way, the kickstart. And then I run into the same wall. Styles do not match. Genre, completely different. You gotta keep in mind that I was very specific about this song. This song was particular. This song, I was gonna be picky about. This song I didn't want to mess up, which is part of the reason why I waited this long. But the other person that I was about to collab with was my friend Dom, Mr. Dominic. We became friends later on in high school, and he was in chorus. And I remember meeting him at lunch. He was this very energetic, expressive, just an awesome person who had a bubbly personality, and man, he could sing. Man, he could sing. Here we are in 2020/2021, and I had stopped the search by now. I realized that there is nobody left that I could think of, and that I would probably have to do this myself. So I tried, and the song did not sound complete. It did not sound the best it possibly could. So here comes 2022. Still, the track is featureless. And bingo, we had come full circle. I had collabed with Malia back in November of 2021, fresh off of No Friends, her first single, her second song overall, and a return to music after a hiatus. So this time, right, I musically have evolved in the sense that I'm no longer pigeonholed, right? No Friends is a testament to that. It showed that I could get out my comfort zone and rap on songs that I normally wouldn't rap on. She was down for that collab. And this time, everything came to fruition. I'm talking styles meshed. I'm talking genres matched. And if we want to talk about cinematic vocals, she can do cinematic vocals. There is no doubt about that. My dad always said that Malia has this tone in her voice when she sings, this kind of texture that when she sings, it is this emotional, sad cry in her voice when she sings. It gives you this feeling that she can tell a story. She has a storytelling voice. So we go to the studio. It is, I believe, August of 2022, which is last month. We pull off greatness. We create what felt like a movie scene. Very dramatic, full of ambience, full of character. And you gotta keep in mind, it is 2022. We had not practiced this. We had a little practice session over the phone overnight. I'd say maybe 11. There was no practice sessions. There was no time to prepare. We had went in the studio and made this song and perfected it just like that, with no struggle whatsoever. Familiar Strangers. What does it mean? Familiar Strangers is exactly what it sounds like. I talk about in the archives how I'm chasing after ghosts. Well, Familiar Strangers dives deep into that theme. This theme of people who you've known for so long who become unrecognizable. They, out of the blue, cut ties with you. They start to leave you unread and read your messages and let it be known to your face that they are there, alive and well, but do not care whatsoever about what you had to say, even though you were best friends, even though you literally spent most of your life together and gave your everything. Familiar Strangers tells a story of two people who know each other but pretend as they don't. You get in a relationship, the moment y'all break up, what do? You wipe that person's existence off of your social media and you pretend like they never existed. You took all those photos? You took all those Polaroids? Oh, you take that photo book? You light it on fire. You burn everything. You burn what I call the evidence. I say, tampering with evidence, that is the evidence. The evidence that y'all are not strangers whatsoever. That y'all have known each other for quite some time. Familiar Strangers tells the story of two people who now, all of a sudden, are polar opposites. Yet, their energy is so matched that they want to coexist, but they can't coexist. They don't want to coexist. Because why? Why would you want to coexist with the same person that you no longer like? Familiar Strangers tells the story of me scratching the itch that has been a thorn in my side. It is the third part in a trilogy, and I say this a lot. The first song is Change, the second song is Renegade, and the third song is Familiar Strangers. It is the final song. As I put this storyline to rest, the archives says that I choose to forget people. I hide them away. Familiar Strangers is that proof. We do not know each other anymore. I don't know you, you don't know me. We can't coexist. I say in the archives that I saw your face and every single person that walked past me. And I did. Perfect example of somebody who's haunted me. In Familiar Strangers, I reiterate that I feel like it's straightforward, but this time I say, we passed each other in the same room, and I see that you care less. The hardest part about letting a friend go is you gotta stand in the background and pretend like y'all don't have history. You gotta pretend like this person did not contribute to your life, that this person is not special. You care less. I cared more, but now I don't care at all. But to show how much that hurts me is the example of the statue. The bar in Familiar Strangers that I feel I connect with most, that I feel represents what the song really feels like. I say I'm feeling like a statue and I want to talk. If you know anything about statues, I'm sure we all do. They sit, they're idle, they don't move, they can't talk. They're set in stone. If you don't maintain, they collect dust. I felt like somehow I blew it and I don't even know what I did. So, a relationship is something serious. You break up from a significant other and everything y'all ever did decides to crumble. And I'm gonna say it like this. You break up with your friend and not only does everything crumble, but everything just disintegrates. It's like removing them from the timeline, plucking them out, and then going back in history and you see that they are now missing when they should have been there the entire time, but now they no longer are. That means to whoever is watching this, you know exactly who I'm talking about. And this is what I'm talking about. Perfect example. Today, I am walking to class, literally minding my business, headphones in, just listening to music, trying to go about my day, and here you are. I pass you on my way to class, and I was surprised. I felt like I saw a ghost, literally, because I hadn't seen you in a big minute. Lord knows how long that was, but I had no idea you went to my campus. That's crazy. So that is what it is. Familiar strangers. I feel like it doesn't get more simpler than that. Track 4 comes right after Breathtaking. They're both piano driven songs. They're both cinematic instrumentals. Familiar Strangers, I overloaded with synths to make sure that you understood how dramatic this is, how serious this is for me. It's gonna come off as bitter, it's gonna come off as a diss track. I'm sure it seems that way. I mean, if you wanted a diss track, Renegade from Reality is very much so. But I feel like we're adults here, and I'm just telling it how it is. Ooh. We say this a lot. Not me, not you, but just everybody in general. We say, we've been hurt too many times. And it's starting to seem like this is all too familiar.